jolly good.
Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clank Zoka, and welcome to another My Thoughts On. Today, I'm going to be talking about Inception, which is the 2010 blockbuster hit from Christopher Nolan. I was originally going to do this before Tenet, however, I actually didn't have time to watch the whole film and do my thoughts on, so I decided to do it afterwards, because why not? So, Inception is actually one of the it's one of the biggest films of the 21st century, and is also one of the highest grossing and slightly overrated films of the 2010 decade. People praise this film for being original, clever, unique, and deep and complex, and that's what Christopher Nolan does for the most part well. I do like the guy. I think he has directed some very good films. I love The Dark Knight. It's still my favourite film out of him. Dark Knight Rises I thought was pretty great. I've not seen Interstellar or Batman Begins. Dunkirk I really like, but I probably like it a little less because it's a film I liked but quickly forgotten. However, with Inception, I actually saw this a few years ago. Obviously, I didn't see it when it came out because I was a bit too young. And this film won like 4 Oscars. Like, how the hell did this film get so huge? People still talk about this film. There's even a meme about the whole Inception idea. So, it's been 10 years since the film came out last month in July. What is Inception about? I'll try and explain it in the best way possible. So there is this team of agents led by Dom Cobbs, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, who believes that they have to try and find some information from this businessman named Robert Fishner, played by Cillian Murphy. He brings in a team. He brings in Arthur, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's like his right-hand man. Eridine, played by Ellen Page. Sato, played by Ken Watanabe. Eames, played by Tom Hardy. And Yusuf, played by Dilip Real. They have to try and get inside the mind of this businessman. However, at the same time, Cobbs experiences the past with his deceased wife, now played by Marion Cotillard. He starts to see her whenever they enter a dream, and he doesn't see the face of his children. However, they have to try and get inside the mind, within a mind, to save their world and stop whatever's going on. The idea of the film is genius, where you can create worlds and you can go inside the mind of someone while entering another mind. So it's like a dream within a dream within a dream. Hence the name Inception, and the meme too. The idea is genius, and how do you craft a story around that? Well, Nolan found a way, and he did it in possibly the best way he could. Obviously, being a Christopher Nolan film, the film has heavy amounts of explanation. However, the world of Inception is really interesting. You don't seem to believe that they're in a world where it's real, or if it's a dream. It creates so many ideas and so many theories about how the world works, and the idea, like I said, is genius, just like Tenet. Nolan always seems to find a way to make these ideas seem possible. and the way it's executed works thanks to the well-crafted story and the emotional side of Cobb. Or is it Cobb? Yeah, it's Cobb. I keep saying Cobbs. I don't know why. Um, usually when a film has heavy explanation or explaining about how the world and world building works, Inception works. Because you want to know about the characters, the situation, and the world they live in. And yeah, Nolan's films are heavily explanation. They are heavily filled with explanation and explaining, but honestly, he does that in a brilliant yet simple way. The action scenes when they enter the mine is creative. It leaves a big impact when entering a dream. It's also a film that does make you think within the concept and in the world of the film, and the story is actually really deep and complex, and there is more to it than you would imagine. Um, the film also has comedy, but like Tenet, it's not a comedy at all. It has like very bantery humour, but nothing that's considered laugh out loud. I'm trying to think what else, because what else can I say about the execution plot of Inception? It's really complex. It's deep. It's, for most people, a little hard to follow. I followed it okay. Tenant's execution plot makes it a bit more heavy-handed, and it was a little hard to follow in terms of plot and execution, and also because the characters were talking a little too quiet and the action was too loud. Here, you can understand and hear what the characters are doing, and you can also express. You can also see their expressions and how they are feeling about their situation. So sometimes actions can speak louder than words. So Christopher Nolan, I think you did a really good job with the plot. It's deep, it's clever, it's well done, it's emotional. The idea is genius and it's executed brilliantly thanks to some likable characters and a pretty satisfying third act that leaves you on the edge of your seat. There wasn't a point where I thought the film felt boring or anything. It did it so brilliantly, and I think it deserves to be, I guess, an original story. But the concept's original and the plot's executed well with some clever and creative action when they're in the mind. That's good enough for me, and I'm sure everyone else would agree with me because it's it's clever. It's all about in the mind, where Tenet is all about time and the forward and backwards version of time. You can't get any more clever than that. Visuals. From a film that came out in 2010, it looks pretty damn good. Visually, this is just like any other Nolan film. It's very well shot. It has a sense of dull atmosphere, but it works in the film's tone and theme and location also. The visuals, when it comes to building dreams inside minds, is both creative and impressive from 2010. None of the effects, although obviously they're not real, but they look real and they don't feel fake or out of place. Sometimes there'd be a very odd looking green screen, like when someone falls off a building so they can die within that dream and wake up within another dream. It's well shot for the most part, obviously. It's quite nice to look at. It's got great cinematography. The locations they go to within these minds is great. It's creative. It's nice. It really builds up the story, and it gets more and more interesting as it goes along. I'm trying to think what else. Nolan seems to have this very satisfying and big style to his films. They seem to have this very modern but yet creative look to them. That's what I like about films like Tenet and Inception. They seem to have their own interpretation of worlds, cities, and known places. They seem to you seem to look at them in a very unique way, which kind of works, if you ask me. Not much else I can say, really. Inception really captures the look of its concept, the world, the film's around. It's well shot, it's beautiful, the cinematography is legit fantastic, and the effects have not dated at all. So it's a visual marvel, but it also feels like an actual dream. Characters and acting. All of the characters, with the exception of Cobb and maybe Aridin, I can't pronounce her name correctly, so sorry. Most of the characters do play a very good role in the film. They're mostly supporting characters like Arthur, Sato, Heems, Yusuf, and more. Cobb is actually the main character. He is a man who seems to know a lot, but he doesn't really want to reveal his secret or what he does. He's a very complex, he's a very understandable, and you could also relate to him at times. He's a character that I enjoyed. I think he's a great lead, even though you don't know a lot about him except his marriage and his children and his past and what he does with the concept of Inception. He's a great lead, but he's also a very simply complex character that you can see more and more into. Everyone else, like Arthur and the rest, are great supporting characters. Arthur's my favourite out of all of them. I think he's probably the most helpful, and he does provide good explanation about Inception. I'm gonna call her Ellen Page because her character I can't pronounce her name, but Ellen Page. She's also a good supporting character. She's more like, I guess, the secondary character where she helps out with the team in order to enter Cillian Murphy's mind. She's great. She's a really great supporting character. Heems is you could argue that Hems or Eames, I think it's Eames, the Tom Hardy character. He's kind of a support. He's kind of a comic relief, but not really. He's more like just helping out with the team. And the team itself they are likable and well fleshed out mostly, but they are good supporting characters. The other characters in the film that do play a key role is Robert Fisher, Cillian Murphy, who's more like the key character and the objective that the team have to get to, and Mal, who's more like, I guess, the villain here, but her reasons and her goals are a little bit too... It's kind of hard to describe, and it is a little bit hard to follow when you think about it. But her chemistry with Cobb is complex, sad, but at the same time frustratingly understandable. There are other characters in the film, like Miles, who's played by the one and only and the returning Michael Caine. Just like Tennant, he's just there for a very, very brief scene, there to provide information and more. You've also got Maurice Fisher, Robert's father, played by the late Pete Postal Post Left Weight. I don't know how you pronounce his second name, but even though they don't play very short, long roles, they do play a very key role in each of the characters' fleshed out world and development, and they do play a key role in the story too. As well as some strong characters, you've got some good acting. Leonardo DiCaprio always does a great job. He's a little overrated in my opinion, but anything I see him in, for example, The Revenant, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he's great. I always enjoy him, and he's pretty good here. Not as good as The Revenant, which is a big coincidence actually, because Tom Hardy's in it too, and they're both pretty good in that. But actually, everyone does a great job. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's performance is probably my favourite. He seems the most... He definitely looks like he's really into his role, and he's definitely just being himself while just having fun and actually giving us explanation. He's great. Ellen Page is good as always, same with Ken Watanabe. Tom Hardy's always. It's Tom Hardy. He's always great in anything I see him in. Well, except for Venom, but again, he was good in that film. Cillian Murphy's great, as always. Michael Caine, despite how short his role is, and Marion Cotillard. She's a good actress also, and she's great here as well. I think she's very emotional and really gets into her role. The characters, for the most part, you can argue that they are complex and kind of fleshed out, but with Cobb and Ellen Page, everyone else just plays a good supporting role, and all the characters seem to have personality and purpose. So these are characters you can like within the mind. On a side note, okay, I'm just gonna say this is Hans Zimmer because there is no way it's Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer, he, again, he's a bit overrated, but good overrated because he is a great composer and his music for this film is. It does give me a little bit of a Dark Knight vibe here, but it still has its unique theme. It sounds different, and the music. When we see Arthur in the hotel, when the dream is spinning. I won't say too much, but if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. That piece there, that's when I thought the music got better, intense, unique, and different. Okay, I know Inception is a film that a good chunk of people know, but what can I say? Inception's just great. Inception may not be Dark Knight levels of great, but I say second best. It has a great concept with a well executed story with heart, emotion. It does explain to us what Inception is and how it works. It's a visually creative and beautiful film. A lot of the characters are very supportive. The main characters are likable, complex, and interesting. The acting's great, along with some excellent music. And Nolan did a great job directing this also. I think he wrote it as well, which is also great. If you like Christopher Nolan, check it out. If you're a person who's heard of the film but you've never seen it, give it a chance. It's actually a great film. It really is. It's actually more than that, in my opinion. It is. I I know what you're thinking. Ooh, it's overrated. Slightly. It is still being talked about even to this day, and as I'm looking on IMDb, as I'm recording this, no joke, over 2 million people have rated this film. I am not joking. Look it up. It's crazy by how big this film is. Nolan's films are genuinely quite huge in terms of critical response and audience response. Box office wise is varied, you know. The fucking Dark Knight's got like more than what Inception got. So, do I have any issues with the film? Not really. It does get a little bit complicated. I know Christopher Nolan, but it's like it did get a little confusing near the end, but I followed it okay. And who knows, will there be a sequel to Inception? Probably not. Anyways, I'll probably give it maybe a 10. Fuck it, 10 out of 10. Despite the little flaws, this is still a fantastic film. If you love Christopher Nolan, I do recommend it. If you are curious to see if this is as good as everyone is saying it is, watch it. And if you don't understand what happened, there are tons and tons of theories and explanations on how Inception works on YouTube and everywhere, because it's, again, a really popular film. Go watch it. It's a great film. I didn't think it was perfect when I first watched it, but I actually like it a lot more than I think, than than I thought. Wow, no. So Inception, yeah. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a sequel to I wouldn't say Tenet's a sequel to Inception, but I can see the similarities in a way. Alright, so that's that. Next up, well, you're going to have to wait and see. So, if you have seen Inception, I mean, everyone has. I mean, most people have seen it, so, I mean, if you have seen it, do you like it? Do you not? Sorry. Do you think it's good, bad, decent? Do you want to see it? Or what's your favourite Christopher Nolan film? I still prefer The Dark Knight, but this is like second best. Let me know below, and as always, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. And until next time, this is, my friends, this is reality. This is not a dream. I don't know why I had the urge to say that. I had to say. I had to say. This could be a my thoughts on within a my thoughts on within a my thoughts on, and my thoughts on Inception. Seriously, what the hell is up with that meme? I get that my joke didn't work, but at least I tried. Triception. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. Why do I do things like this?